Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be tackling something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at this whole idea of growth and new beginnings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hitting the refresh button on your life,
Mhm.
and we're going to be looking at it through the lens of personal development.
Okay.
And we've got two very different sources that we're going to be unpacking today.
Interesting.
Yeah, on the one hand, we've got some feedback notes that kind of throw some serious shade
Oh.
on the whole concept of regrowth.
Mm.
And on the other hand, we've got this really cool YouTube video that just dives headfirst into embracing change.
That's quite a contrast.
It is. It's going to be interesting to see how those two play off each other.
So I'm intrigued.
Yeah, let's start with these feedback notes.
Okay.
They basically say, and I'm paraphrasing here, but they basically say, hey, trees don't just magically grow back after they're cut down.
Oh.
So maybe find a different analogy.
Yeah.
It's kind of a buzzkill.
Right.
But it does make you think.
It does. It kind of highlights, I think, how sometimes we oversimplify these complex processes, both in nature and also in personal development.
Absolutely. And that's a great point. I think that's something we'll probably keep coming back to as we go through this.
Yeah.
But speaking of renewal, let's move on to that YouTube video I mentioned.
All right.
This is from a guy named Jock Selacorpi,
Okay.
who is a yoga instructor, and he leads these really cool transformative workshops.
Interesting.
And this particular video is promoting his Let Grow workshop.
Let grow.
And guess what?
What?
He actually uses the regrowth of trees in a deforested area
Okay.
as a metaphor for personal growth.
It's a classic metaphor. I think there's a reason why it resonates so strongly.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's that desire to bounce back from setbacks, to find new ways to thrive.
Right.
And he actually filmed the intro to his video in a place where trees were cut down years ago.
Oh, wow.
But now it's flourishing with all this new growth.
Oh, that's cool.
Talk about a visual representation.
I like it.
And he even goes on to explain that his workshop isn't just about, mastering yoga poses.
Okay.
He sees yoga as a tool for self-mastery.
That's a crucial distinction, I think.
Yeah, and that really resonated with me.
Yeah, it suggests that the workshop is less about achieving a specific outcome and more about that inward journey of self-discovery and growth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell that he's really passionate about helping people, tap into their potential.
Yeah.
He talks about how true happiness comes from experiencing all of life's ups and downs, the duality, as he calls it,
Yeah.
without resisting it.
Without resisting it. Okay.
And he sees yoga as a way to kind of cultivate that acceptance and freedom within yourself.
This aligns beautifully with that idea of equanimity in yoga philosophy.
Oh, yeah.
That sense of finding balance amidst life's inevitable changes, not getting swept away by the highs and lows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Jock doesn't want to be seen as some kind of guru or ultimate authority figure.
Oh, interesting.
He actually encourages people to find their own truth and authority within themselves.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I like that approach.
Oh,
It's very empowering.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's really missing in a lot of personal development programs these days.
I think you're right. There's often this tendency to look outside ourselves for answers and guidance when really the wisdom is already within us.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of tapping into it.
And speaking of tapping into things,
Yeah.
he structures the workshop around 3 specific themes.
Okay, what are they?
Let go,
Okay.
let be,
Okay.
and let grow.
Let go, let be, let grow. So it seems like each theme kind of builds on the previous one, creating a journey of self-discovery and transformation.
Exactly.
What do you think about that approach?
I think it's really cool. It's easy to talk about letting go,
Right.
but his emphasis on confronting those darker emotions makes this workshop sound really different. It suggests a level of depth that you don't often find in personal development programs.
I agree. It's not just about positive thinking and affirmations. It's about acknowledging the full spectrum of human experience.
Exactly.
The light and the shadow.
Exactly. Yeah, and it can be hard to say goodbye to those familiar patterns, even if we know they're not good for us.
It can. It's like we get attached to our suffering in a weird way.
It's comfortable. It's familiar.
Exactly. And that's where the support of a community can be so valuable.
Absolutely.
It sounds like this workshop could provide a safe and supportive space for people to do that inner work, to face those shadows and release what's no longer needed.
Totally. And it's not just Jock leading the way. His wife, Daria, is a therapist.
Okay.
And she contributes to the workshop with guided meditations and techniques for accessing the subconscious mind.
I'm really curious to know more about how Daria integrates her therapeutic techniques with the yoga practice.
Me too. It sounds like they're creating a really powerful synergy.
It does. It would be interesting to understand what specific methods she uses to help participants access their subconscious.
Yeah.
Because, the subconscious mind is where so much of our programming and conditioning resides.
Absolutely.
So if you can tap into that and start to rewire those old patterns, that's where real transformation can happen.
Totally.
It sounds like there's a nice balance of physical practice introspection and emotional exploration.
I think so too.
From what you've shared, it seems like this let go phase really sets the stage for the next theme, let be. It's almost like creating this calm, open space within for new possibilities to emerge.
I like that imagery.
Yeah.
And that note we read earlier,
Which one?
the one that was so skeptical about trees growing back?
Oh, yeah.
It makes me wonder if they were missing the point.
In what way?
Well, it's not about replicating the past.
Yeah.
It's about fostering new growth.
Right.
Which feels much more aligned with personal development, I think.
That's a very insightful observation. I think you're right. It's not about going back to who we were before.
Right.
It's about becoming something new. So how does this let be theme tie into the idea of fostering new growth?
Well, he describes it as finding stillness and acceptance in the present moment,
Okay.
primarily through meditation.
Mm-hmm.
He emphasizes that it's about cultivating that inner peace that allows you to move through life with more grace and ease.
This aligns with the growing popularity of mindfulness. Learning to be present without judgment can be incredibly transformative.
It is.
It's like creating a blank canvas for your inner artist to work with.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's where Daria's expertise as a therapist can be so valuable.
Right.
It's like they're helping people access those deeper levels of their being where true transformation can take place.
It sounds like a really holistic approach.
It does.
They're addressing the physical, the mental, and the emotional aspects of growth.
Yeah.
And then from that place of stillness and self-awareness, you move into let grow, where you nurture those seeds of intention that you've planted.
Exactly. It's like the whole workshop is designed to guide you through a process of renewal. From letting go to letting be to letting grow.
It's an intriguing approach, but let's not forget that initial skepticism about regrowth.
Okay.
Do you think focusing on the spring equinox for this particular workshop could make it harder for people to apply those let grow lessons to other times of year?
That's an interesting point. Maybe there's something about the energy of spring that makes it particularly conducive to growth and new beginnings.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're right. It's important to consider how we can integrate those lessons into our lives beyond a specific season or setting.
Absolutely. It's about finding ways to nurture that growth year-round, regardless of the external circumstances.
And speaking of nurturing growth,
Yeah.
did you hear him talk about the energy of the Spring Let Grow workshop?
I don't think so. Tell me about it.
He says it's going to be the most uplifting of the three,
Oh, wow.
where you really start to see the fruits of your labor, so to speak.
Oh, I like that. There's something so powerful about the symbolism of spring.
Yeah.
A time of renewal and growth in nature.
Yeah.
It's a perfect metaphor for the kind of personal transformation that Jock seems to be facilitating.
Totally. And the workshop location itself sounds pretty amazing.
Oh, really? Where is it?
He holds it in Kampa,
Kampa.
which is this beautiful natural setting.
Oh, wow.
I think it's in the mountains somewhere.
I'm assuming this aligns with the spring equinox you mentioned earlier.
You got it.
Mm.
He specifically chose the weekend of March 20th to the 23rd
Okay.
because it marks the official start of spring,
Right.
when the days start getting longer than the nights.
Right.
It's like this symbolic shift from darkness to light, which ties in perfectly with the workshop's theme of growth and new beginnings.
That's such a thoughtful touch. It adds another layer of meaning to the experience. It seems like Jock has really put a lot of care into crafting this workshop.
He has, but here's the catch.
Oh.
Space is limited.
Oh, no.
He only takes 10 people max for the workshop to keep it intimate and allow for deeper connection and personal attention.
I can see why he would prioritize quality over quantity.
Yeah.
A smaller group allows for more personalized guidance and a stronger sense of community.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the size of the group.
What else?
It's about the people who are drawn to this kind of experience.
Right. Hearing about the limited capacity makes me think this workshop attracts a very specific type of person.
I think so too.
Who do you think would benefit most from this experience?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think it would appeal to someone who's ready to do some deep inner work,
Okay.
who's not afraid to confront those darker emotions and limiting beliefs that might be holding them back, and someone who values a more intimate setting where they can really connect with others on a similar journey.
Yeah, I think you're right. Someone who's looking for a more authentic and transformative experience.
Exactly. And it sounds like those spots are filling up fast.
Really?
He mentions in the video that people are already registering, especially those who are part of his yoga teacher training.
That makes sense. They probably have a deeper understanding of his philosophy and teaching style.
Yeah, and it speaks volumes, I think, about the value people see in his teachings and the workshop itself.
I agree. It's a testament to the impact he's having on people's lives.
And you know what's funny? He even mentions considering expanding the capacity.
Oh, really?
By adding heated tents.
Heated tents.
Because it takes place in early spring.
Right.
When it can still be a bit chilly in Campa.
Ah, that's a good idea. I like that he's thinking outside the box.
Yeah, and it sounds like pre-registration is open now with a fee of 100 euros.
Okay.
Which goes towards the total workshop cost of 330 euros.
330 euros.
But he does mention that he might need to adjust the price.
Okay.
Since this particular workshop might be a bit longer than previous ones.
That's understandable.
It's good that he's transparent about the pricing and potential adjustments.
It is. It shows that he values clear communication with potential participants.
Exactly.
Thinking back to that note about trees not growing back.
Yeah.
Perhaps it was overly literal. Jacques' approach isn't about replicating the past, but fostering new growth, which feels much more aligned with personal development.
Absolutely. And you know, it's funny, that note made me think about something else.
What's that?
Imagine you're standing in a forest that's been cleared.
Okay.
You could focus on the loss,
Right.
the emptiness, or you could look at it as an opportunity for something new to take root and flourish.
Right.
Maybe that's a more helpful way to think about personal growth too.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
It's not about erasing the past,
Right.
but about recognizing the potential for something even more beautiful and resilient to emerge.
Exactly.
What stands out to you from all of this? Does this concept of personal growth through yoga and introspection resonate with you?
It definitely does. I think Jacques' approach is really refreshing.
In what way?
He's not promising a quick fix or a magical transformation. Instead, he's offering a space for deep, meaningful exploration. And he's empowering people to take ownership of their own growth.
I agree. And his passion for helping people unlock their potential is contagious, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of personal growth and new beginnings, let's leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question.
I like it.
If you could plant a metaphorical seed for personal growth,
Okay.
what would it represent? And what kind of environment would you need to nurture its growth?
That's a wonderful question to ponder.
Isn't it?
It invites us to reflect on our own desires and aspirations. You know, what do we want to cultivate within ourselves? What kind of growth are we seeking?
Right.
Maybe it's a seed of courage,
Yeah.
of compassion, of creativity. Whatever it is, it deserves to be nurtured and given the space to blossom.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that growth is an ongoing process.
It is.
A journey that unfolds throughout our lives. It's not about reaching some kind of finish line,
Right.
but about embracing the constant evolution and expansion of who we are.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
The journey of growth is an ongoing adventure, full of twists and turns and unexpected discoveries.
Absolutely.
Embrace the process,
Right.
trust your instincts, and never stop exploring the vast potential that lies within you. Until next time.
Thanks for joining us.